The final countdown, why these hours change everything. We are now in the final hours of Mercury Retrograde, and if you think this is just another cosmic event you can ignore, you're about to miss the most critical spiritual window of the entire cycle. This isn't just a transition, it's a tipping point. The last 24 hours before Mercury stations direct are not a gentle fade-out. They are a high-voltage, energetic climax where everything you do, say, or fail to address gets locked into your next chapter. Most people sleepwalk through this phase, only to wake up weeks later wondering why the same old patterns keep repeating. But you're different. You're here because you sense the urgency. You feel the shift in the air. And by the time we're done, you'll know exactly how to use these final hours to rewrite what comes next. Let's start with a truth you've never been told. Mercury retrograde doesn't end when the planet goes direct. It ends based on what you do or don't do right now. The universe operates in cycles, and this one is sealing your fate for the next 3 months. Think of it like wet cement. Whatever you press into it today, your thoughts, your words, your unresolved emotions, hardens into your reality tomorrow. This is why the chaos of the past few weeks hasn't been random. It's been a forced reckoning, a divine intervention to show you where you've been out of alignment. And if you don't take deliberate action before the clock runs out, you'll carry that misalignment forward like an invisible weight. Here's what's really happening energetically. Mercury retrograde's final phase amplifies the law of cause and effect. Every unspoken truth, every half-finished project, every avoided confrontation gains momentum in these hours. The universe is asking you, what are you willing to release? What are you ready to claim? This isn't about surviving the retrograde. It's about mastering its lessons. Most people treat this time as a countdown to relief, but the awakened few treat it as a countdown to transformation. The difference between the two? One group stumbles into the next cycle exhausted. The other steps into it empowered. Now, let's talk about the hidden danger of these final hours. Stagnation. When Mercury slows down before going direct, it creates a vacuum. Energy becomes thick, emotions feel heavier, and procrastination whispers, just wait it out. That's the trap. Because what you postpone now doesn't disappear, it fossilizes. The conversation you've been avoiding, it will resurface as tension in a future argument. That creative idea you abandoned, it will haunt you as regret when someone else brings it to life. Mercury retrograde's final act is a test of commitment. Will you tidy up the unresolved, or will you drag it into your future like dead weight? But here's the magic waiting for those who act. The last day of Mercury retrograde is also a portal for rapid upgrades. The same cosmic forces that magnify chaos can magnify clarity, if you know how to direct them. This is your chance to audit your energy, to cut cords with what no longer serves you, and to plant seeds for what's coming. The universe isn't just watching, it's responding. Every intentional thought, every bold declaration, every act of release sends a signal. And when Mercury goes direct, that signal gets amplified. So, the question isn't, can you feel the shift? The question is, what will you do with it? Over the next 24 hours, your moves matter more than they have in weeks. This isn't hype, it's celestial mechanics. The retrograde exposed the cracks in your foundation. Now, you have one last chance to repair them before the next chapter begins. The clock is ticking. The choice is yours. And the moment, it's already here. The sacred audit. What Mercury retrograde really wants from you. For too long, Mercury retrograde has been misunderstood. It's been labeled as a cosmic villain, a 3-week curse that brings miscommunication, delays, and frustration. But what if I told you that this retrograde was never meant to break you? What if its true purpose was far more profound? Mercury Retrograde isn't here to punish you. It's here to expose you. This is not a malfunction of the universe, it's a sacred audit. And if you're willing to look beyond the surface chaos, you'll discover that everything it disrupted was something you needed to see. Let's dismantle the biggest illusion first. Mercury retrograde doesn't create problems. It reveals the ones already there. Think about the past few weeks. Where did communication break down? Where did technology glitch? Where did plans unravel? Each of these moments was a flashing neon sign pointing to a weak link in your life. A relationship that lacked honesty, a project that wasn't aligned, a commitment made out of obligation rather than truth. The retrograde didn't cause these issues. It simply pulled back the curtain so you could no longer ignore them. This is the audit in action. And now, in these final hours, you're being asked one critical question. What will you do with what you've seen? Here's the second layer of the audit, the one most people miss. Mercury retrograde doesn't just expose external misalignments. It exposes internal ones. It highlights where you've been out of integrity with yourself. Maybe it showed you how often you swallow your words to keep the peace. Maybe it revealed how quickly you abandon your own needs to please others. Or perhaps it forced you to confront a truth you've been avoiding about your career, your relationships, or your spiritual path. These aren't random hardships, they're mirrors. And the discomfort you felt? That's the friction between who you've been and who you're meant to become. Now, let's talk about the most misunderstood aspect of this process: the chaos. We've been conditioned to fear disruption, to see it as a sign that something's gone wrong. But in the realm of spiritual growth, chaos is often the first step to order. Mercury retrograde dismantles the shaky structures in your life not to leave you stranded, but to make space for what's sturdier. It's like a cosmic contractor tearing down an unstable foundation, so a stronger one can be built. The key is to recognize that this demolition is purposeful. The retrograde isn't here to destroy you. It's here to rebuild you. So, what does Mercury retrograde really want from you? 3 things. First, it wants awareness, for you to see where you've been out of alignment without judgment or denial. Second, it wants action, for you to make one decisive move toward correction before the cycle ends. And third, it wants acceptance, for you to stop resisting the lessons and start working with them. This isn't about fixing everything overnight. It's about acknowledging what's been revealed and choosing, even in a small way, to move differently. As we approach the final hours of this retrograde, remember, the audit doesn't end when Mercury goes direct. It simply shifts form. What you do with these revelations now determines whether the next cycle will be a repeat of old patterns or the beginning of a new trajectory. The universe has handed you the blueprint. The choice is yours. Will you file it away, or will you start building? The Chaos Ritual: How to Intentionally Create Disorder and Why It Works. There is a hidden power in controlled chaos, a spiritual secret that Mercury retrograde's final hours are begging you to discover. While most people are scrambling to fix their lives before the retrograde ends, you're about to learn why deliberately creating disorder might be the most transformative thing you can do. This isn't about adding more mess to your life. It's about reprogramming your relationship with chaos itself. Because the truth is, you've been conditioned to fear instability, to avoid mistakes at all costs. But what if that fear has been holding you back from your greatest breakthroughs? Let's start with why this works. From childhood, we're taught that order equals safety and chaos equals danger. We straighten our rooms, follow the rules, and hide our imperfections, all in an attempt to control life's unpredictability. But spirituality operates differently. The universe doesn't respond to perfection. It responds to authenticity, and nothing reveals your true self faster than controlled chaos. When you intentionally create disorder, you're doing something radical. You're proving to your subconscious and to the cosmos that you can handle the unraveling, that you're not afraid of the mess, that you trust yourself to restore balance when needed. Here's how to perform the chaos ritual in these final retrograde hours. First, choose a physical space where you'll create intentional disorder. A desk, a corner of a room, even a single drawer. Then, disrupt it. Toss papers randomly, spill some water and watch it pool. Throw clothes in a pile instead of folding them. As you do this, pay attention to your body's reaction. Do you feel tension? Resistance? That's the programming we're working to undo. Now, here's the crucial second step. Restore order. But not frantically, not with stress, with presence. Wipe the water slowly. Fold each item methodically. Feel yourself becoming the calm within the storm. This ritual works on 3 levels. Physically, it rewires your nervous system's response to unpredictability. Emotionally, it teaches you that falling apart isn't failure. It's just part of the process. Spiritually, it sends a message to the universe. I am not afraid of realignment. Mercury Retrograde has been showing you where life feels unstable. This ritual proves you can work with that instability rather than against it. Now, let's address the deeper magic happening here. In many esoteric traditions, controlled chaos is used to break old energy patterns. When you intentionally disrupt your environment, you're symbolically disrupting the stagnant energies in your life. The mess becomes a living metaphor. By creating it consciously, you gain power over the unconscious messes that have been holding you back. This is why the ritual must happen now, during Mercury Retrograde's final hours. The planetary energy is already stirring things up. You're simply directing that energy with purpose. But there's one rule you must follow. No judgment. The moment you criticize yourself for making a mess, you've missed the point. This isn't about being tidy or messy. It's about being free. Free from the need to control every outcome. Free from the fear of imperfection. Free to trust that even when things fall apart, you have what it takes to put them back together. As Mercury prepares to go direct, remember this: life will always bring chaos. The choice isn't whether you'll encounter it, but how you'll relate to it. Will you tense up, resist, and break under pressure? Or will you learn to dance with the disorder, knowing you carry the power to restore balance at will? The chaos ritual is your training ground. The retrograde has been your wake-up call. Now, it's time to step into your power, not despite the chaos, but because of it. The most spiritually advanced people aren't those with perfect lives. They're those who've learned to hold space for the unraveling, knowing it's just the universe making room for something new. As you complete this ritual, you're not just preparing for Mercury going direct. You're preparing for every unexpected twist yet to come, and claiming your right to remain unshaken through them all. The cosmic witness who's watching your final moves and why it matters. There is an unseen presence observing you right now, not with judgment, but with sacred attention. As Mercury retrograde enters its final hours, you stand at a spiritual checkpoint where every choice carries more weight than you realize. This isn't superstition, this is energy mechanics. Your ancestors, spirit guides, and higher self are not passive observers in these moments. They are active witnesses, assessing what you've learned, what you've released, and, most importantly, what you're ready to receive next. The universe doesn't operate on random blessings. It responds to energetic readiness. And right now, you're being scanned for alignment. let's break down why this witnessing matters. Throughout Mercury Retrograde, you've been tested, not by some arbitrary cosmic force, but by your own soul's curriculum. Every miscommunication, every delayed plan, every uncomfortable revelation served a purpose: to show you where you were still living out of sync with your truth. Now, in these final hours, the spiritual realm isn't just watching to see if you survived the retrograde. It's watching to see if you understood it. Did you catch the patterns it revealed? Did you adjust your boundaries? Did you speak the truths you've been swallowing? Your answers to these questions determine what doors open for you next. Here's what few understand. Mercury Retrograde's conclusion isn't just an astrological event. It's a threshold moment where your actions get energetically cataloged. Think of it like a spiritual report card, not for grading you, but for guiding what frequencies you can access moving forward. When your guides witness you making tough but necessary decisions in these hours, they take note. When they see you releasing what no longer serves you, they respond by clearing blockages you couldn't see. And when they observe you hesitating out of fear, that's when timelines get delayed. Not as punishment, but as mercy. The universe won't give you what you're not yet equipped to handle. Now, let's talk about the practical magic in this awareness. When you realize you're being witnessed at this level, your entire approach to these final hours shifts. You start moving like someone who knows their choices ripple across dimensions. That difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Having it now signals to the cosmos that you're ready for more authentic connections. That creative project you've been neglecting. Reviving it before Mercury goes direct tells your guides you're serious about your gifts. Even your private thoughts matter here, because energy follows attention, whether anyone in the physical world sees it or not. But there's a crucial nuance to grasp. This isn't about performing for some celestial audience. It's about recognizing that spirituality isn't separate from daily life. Your ancestors and guides aren't distant figures, they're active participants in your evolution. When you sit in quiet reflection tonight, that's not just you thinking. That's a council meeting across dimensions. When you feel sudden intuition about a past situation, that's not just memory. That's your team highlighting a lesson before the cycle closes. The synchronicities you'll notice in these hours are their way of nodding in agreement. As we approach the exact moment Mercury stations direct, here's your empowerment. You get to consciously collaborate with this witnessing energy. Light a candle and state aloud what you're releasing and what you're calling in. Write a letter to your future self with the commitments you're making tonight. Touch the objects that represent your next chapter. A book you've been meaning to read. An instrument you're learning. Even your front door as you declare your home a sacred space. These physical actions anchor your energy in a way the unseen realms recognize and respond to. Remember, the cosmic witness isn't judging your past. It's assessing your present to determine your future. Every act of courage in these final hours, no matter how small, sends up a flare that says, "I'm ready." And when Mercury moves direct, that readiness becomes the foundation for everything that follows. You're not just ending a retrograde. You're being met by forces eager to match your vibration. The question is, what will they see you doing in these pivotal hours? The golden hour. What to say, release, or revive before the door closes. Time is slipping through your fingers, and the cosmic doorway that has been opened for the past 3 weeks is about to swing shut. These final hours before Mercury stations direct are not just transitional, they are alchemical. This is the golden hour, the last sacred window where unfinished business can either be transformed into fuel for your next chapter, or cement itself as baggage you'll carry forward. The universe has given you a rare gift, a moment of heightened energetic permeability, where what you release disappears for good, and what you claim becomes part of your foundation. But this window won't stay open forever. The question is, will you use it or watch it close? Let's begin with the most urgent task: unsaid words. Throughout this retrograde, Mercury has been stirring the pot of unexpressed truth. That text you drafted but never sent. That conversation you rehearsed in the shower but avoided in reality. That confession burning in your chest. These aren't just random thoughts. They're energy blockages waiting to be cleared. Research in psychology confirms what mystics have always known. Suppressed expression creates physical tension in the body and stagnation in your life. But here's what ancient spiritual traditions understand that modern science is only beginning to grasp. Words carry creative power when spoken during astrologically charged moments. Right now, the cosmos is amplifying your voice. That thing you've been needing to say, it will land with 10 times the impact today than it would next week. Now, let's talk about resurrection. Mercury Retrograde famously brings back the past, but few understand why. Those resurfaced memories, unexpected encounters with old friends, or recurring dreams about abandoned goals aren't ghosts, they're second chances. During this golden hour, you have unprecedented access to revive what still holds life force. That manuscript collecting digital dust? Skim it now and feel for sparks. That business idea you shelved? Revisit the core vision. The difference between what's meant to return and what's meant to stay buried will be unmistakable. One will give you an electric jolt of excitement. The other will feel like lifting a dead weight. Your body knows. Trust its signals. But resurrection is only half the magic. The other half is release, and this golden hour offers a supernatural delete button. Here's how to use it. Take any object representing what you're ready to release. A photo, a gift from an ex, even a sticky note with a limiting belief written on it, and perform this simple ritual. Hold it in your non-dominant hand, your receptive side, and say aloud, "I thank you for what you taught me. I release you to make space for what's coming." Then destroy it completely, burn it safely, tear it beyond recognition, or flush the ashes down the toilet. This isn't just symbolism. At the quantum level, you're severing energetic cords during the exact astrological moment when the universe is primed to honor that severance. For those needing concrete steps, here's your golden hour checklist. First, speak one hard truth, out loud to a mirror if necessary. Second, revisit one abandoned project and either fully revive it or ceremonially let it go. Third, cleanse one space, your wallet, your inbox, or that junk drawer, while setting the intention to clear corresponding mental clutter. Fourth, write down one commitment to your future self and place it where you'll see it daily. These actions may seem small, but performed in this window, they carry the momentum of the entire retrograde cycle behind them. The critical thing to understand is that Mercury going direct doesn't erase unfinished business. It crystallizes it. That resentment you don't address, it hardens into a lens that distorts future relationships. That creative spark you ignore, it doesn't vanish. It metastasizes into regret. But the inverse is also true. The courage you find today to speak up becomes permanent self-respect. The project you reignite gains unstoppable momentum. The space you clear attracts unexpected blessings. As the final minutes tick down, remember this. You've survived the retrograde's chaos not to return to normal, but to emerge upgraded. The golden hour is your launch pad. These last actions are your trajectory settings. The universe isn't just watching. It's waiting to see what you'll do with this culminating energy. Will you let the door close on the same old patterns? Or will you step through it as someone who finally understands that timing isn't everything, but timing plus intention creates magic? The choice has always been yours. The moment is now, and the future? It's already reshaping itself based on what you do in these next hours. Mercury Retrograde gave you the mirror. The golden hour gives you the chance to change what you saw. Don't just watch the clock, move with it. The universe is counting on you to meet it halfway,